What's up, everyone? Nick from Comic Culture here. It's time for Nick at Night, my weekly comic book review show. Let's get into the books I read this week. We're going to start over in Marvel with Infernal Hulk issue number 2. So Philip Kennedy Johnson is on this one, Nick Klein as well. As long as Nick Klein stays on this book, I don't see me dropping off. His artwork is so awesome, guys. It's super detailed, lots of great coloring and everything from Matt Wilson as well. It's a great creative team on the art side of the house. The story itself is interesting as well. We basically have this demon that has ripped apart Bruce Banner and the Hulk, terrorizing the world right now, trying to recruit other demons. There's a power struggle. There's a leadership gap right now that this demon has filled, and all these other monsters of myth and legend are fighting for that same spot. So we take our battle to the ocean right now. Namor gets involved. It's a really cool conversation between Namor and this beast that has taken over Hulk's persona, and it's just like a really fun time. Lots of gore, high action. Again, the art is incredible in the story. As long as Nick Klein stays in the book, I see myself reading this one until he comes off. So I don't know, guys. What do you guys think? Did you read this one? Let me know down below. All right, guys, let's continue Marvel with Ultimate Spider-Man issue number 23. Hickman and Cacchetto on this one. A lot of things happening in here. You can see it's building up to its conclusion here. Of course, we're going to have the Maker coming out very soon. We're going to have to bring all these teams together to figure that out. I don't know if I have a lot of optimism and hope for how they're going to rein all this in, but man, I got to trust what Hickman's doing, what Camp is doing, and the whole rest of the team, that they can actually pull this together into something cohesive and, I don't know, something that makes you feel good about how the whole thing ended. So we're going to see what's going on. But in this issue, we have a lot of things happening at once. We basically have Richard Parker teaming up with the Black Cat of this universe, trying to infiltrate Wilson Fisk's area and plant some kind of device to disrupt his operations. We have Ben and we have Jonah teaming up with Dr. Ock, who's Superior Spider-Man, relaying this message about the true intentions of Wilson Fisk and how evil he is throughout the world. That's interesting. We have Mr. Negative taking on Kingpin, because Mr. Negative is just this guy, this mole behind the scenes. He has his own ideas of how things should be run, and he has his own motives as well. That was a cool confrontation that got cut a little bit short. We have Peter jumping into the mix there. We have so many cool things, man. We have Harry as Green Goblin teaming up with the Mysterios and going on their mission as well. So there's a lot of different threads happening, and how they're going to weave it all together to have a satisfied conclusion, I don't know just yet, but I'm along for the ride, and I trust Hickman in doing that. Cacchetto on the art is always something you want to see. We have, I think, Matt Wilson, is on the coloring here too, doing a great job on this book as well. And you can feel this book kind of ramping up. This is that big buildup before the end, the big bang at the end of this whole entire run. And so you could feel that. The story feels nervous, right? It feels like there's something going on there. It's like an itch you can't scratch, or a scratch you can't itch, either way. In any case, there's a lot of cool things happening inside the story. Great artwork as well. Let me know if you guys are reading this one. How do you feel about the whole Ultimate line in general? Do you think they're going to nail the landing here? Let me know down below. Next up is Ultimate Wolverine issue number 12. We have Condon and Capuzio on this one. This was a great issue, probably my favorite issue of Ultimate Wolverine that we've gotten so far. In this issue, Wolverine is on his revenge mission because his team was wiped out in the previous issue by the Rasputins. They developed this hybrid bomb that they unleashed on them. And, you know, Wolverine is going headfirst into the Lion's Den to take on these guys. And he doesn't really care what happens to him. He just wants to get blood, and he is bloodthirsty. But, you know, it could have just ended there. It could have been a story of him just going out in there and getting into fistfights with Colossus and magic and things like that. But they actually take a little bit step further, and they introduce more and more characters in this world. And what we see in this one is Ultimate Phoenix and how she's being utilized, how she's being siphoned, her power is being harvested by the Rasputins, and for what cause. And we get to see what happens when she is unleashed, right? When she gets her revenge as well. And it brings you back to that classic relationship between Jean Grey or Phoenix and Wolverine himself. There's always that tension that is there. It very much exists inside here. At least it's one-sided for now. And I just love those moments. It takes me back to the old shows. It takes me back to the comics. It takes me back to the movies and whatnot. I love that relationship, that like forbidden fruit that they have, really on display here as well. And there are some epic moments with her. So it will be interesting to see again how they're going to tie all these different titles together when the Maker is unleashed. Again, you got to trust the creators that they know what they're doing. I don't know, guys. It's going to be hard to do. I don't know how they're going to do it. I'll be here for it. Let me know what you guys think. All right, let's go over to DC next. We have Absolute Batman issue number 15. Man, I got that Ben Oliver cover. I got a cover A Dragata as well. I hope you got your copies because they're probably sold out everywhere at this point. It'll be a $30 or $45 book before you know it for some reason. So this is our Joker, more of an origin story. We have a lot of other issues that have talked about the Joker, kind of tongue-in-cheek. We hinted at a few things through the beginning of the Bane arc. We hinted at who this person could be. I think we saw him in an Ultimates book as well. I can't remember which one that was, but it's like the man who doesn't laugh, you know? And so we have an idea of who this character is. This right here is basically a conversation between Alfred and what he has learned through his investigation with all of his different contexts across the world, between Alfred and Batman. He's telling Batman everything he knows about him, everything that those investigations have uncovered, but Bruce is really pushing him to tell Bruce, what does he think? What is he extrapolating from all this stuff? Not like, what have you been reading inside of reports? Use your brain, put all the pieces together and try to figure out what is going on. Who is this person? We go over his lineage, like his great grandfather and all these different people we think are part of his family and everything, and like how they've manipulated the world and how they played both sides of any kind of wars or conflicts, and they've profited financially from that. And the story just builds and builds and builds until we get this epic conclusion of like what the Joker really is. So it is a great issue in storytelling, in tension building, and of course we get that gnarly Joker figure that we see on all the different covers towards the end, and we get to see a little bit of how they're playing with characters inside the Absolute Universe too. They're stealing bits and pieces from other characters that we know, and they're using those to form this one character, so he's a monster in disguise, essentially, a well-resourced one. So it's cool to see how they put all that together. Now, the approach to this book is not something that I expected, but I really like the outcome of it and the tension building, like I said. So Absolute Batman issue number 15, Joker's origin, guys. It's right here. Make sure you got it. Let me know if you did. All right, next up is Aquaman issue number 13, or the Aquaman Hawkman round 2, or whatever it might be from the DCKO event. Now, if you've been following Aquaman, he has leveled up a lot. Basically, think of him as being the avatar for the blue now, as like Swamp Thing is the avatar for the green. He has Superman level powers, it would seem, as we've noticed in the last few issues. He's taking on Hawkman right now, who is formidable in his own way, and we see that through the rounds and how they play out. But ultimately, man, it's hard to beat like this god of the ocean at this point. And so we get to see those battles play out. They get to pick their different avatars. Of course, one round goes one way, it goes the other way. There's this nice back and forth. A lot of great callbacks to character moments, classic character moments or designs or whatever. So it's really cool to see them go back and forth on some of those character designs from the past and everything and how they can be more relevant today. So it was kind of cool to see all of that stuff play out. I think this is funny. It's actually part of the Aquaman ongoing series, but the Wonder Woman Lobo one is not part of Wonder Woman's ongoing series. That's kind of funny to me. I don't know exactly why that would be. Maybe Tom King is like, don't get this, don't put this crap inside my book. I'm going to do my own thing. Who knows? But yeah, it was a pretty good issue, man. These like DCKO tie-ins, they're very video game-ish. They're very Scott Pilgrim-ish. So if you're into that kind of thing and you want a DC flair, if you want to feel like you're playing a video game, throwing some characters together that are like, I don't know, forced to be evenly matched to some degree just to make it interesting, this is a great little series for you. So make sure to check this one out. All right, so let's talk about Wonder Woman and Lobo. So pull everything I said about Aquaman and Hawkman over to this one because all those rules apply here. I would say the only difference is like Wonder Woman gets a lot of help from other Wonder Women around her. We got like Donna, we got Yara, we got these other people like all of a sudden showing up in here. And I guess that's part of her weaponry, I suppose, but she also dons some of her classic armor. Lobo does a little bit of the same. There's some comments about his new 52 look inside the book, which I thought was pretty funny. But watching him interact with her, it's great. He's bloodthirsty, but he's also like hitting on her at the same time, figuratively and literally. And as you can imagine, part of the charm of this issue is just that banter back and forth, his unrelenting sarcasm and comments towards her or whatever, or her friends, and her just trying to shut him up at the same time. So that was really cool. I'm not going to spoil who wins anything for any of these rounds because I want you to experience it for yourself, but it's funny. It's like I said before, it's like playing a video game. It's a good time if you can just get past that part. There is an overarching narrative happening with Darkseid right now. That's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. He's taken over some other body at this moment, and he's really making an impact on the people who are watching this event unfold. So it's going to be fun to see how that all plays out. Let's go over to Mad Cave next. We have It Killed Everyone But Me, issue number 4. Now we have Ryan Perot on this one, and I really like this story a lot. It's very much reminiscent of Something's Killing the Children. Again, I've been saying that every single review, but it also has this like Hannibal Lecter kind of a thing to it. It's basically a character that survived this demon attack. All of her friends got wiped out. Later in life, she gets reacquainted with that demon because there's other demons doing the same thing, and she needs that demon's help from her past to like save these kids and save these people from being killed. So there's this cool back and forth. It's a very personal back and forth banter between these two characters. And there's a little bit of a level setting right here. Like, listen, you're not going to kill me. I have been that white whale for you. And if you take me out, you're not going to have anything else going for you right now. Like, I am it. You need me around kind of a thing. So shut up and help me save these other people. And guess what? what's better than killing a human? Maybe going after a harder prey, right? Going after a demon itself. It's a really cool idea. I like that a lot. So we have a reluctant demon who's terrorizing this human, thinks he has the upper hand, but gets knocked down a few pegs through the story. So I really dig the idea behind all of that. The artwork is really creepy and eerie as well. It's grotesque when it needs to be. So I'm excited to see where this one goes. I hope it ends kind of soon because it's a nice, tight, nice package. You know what I mean? If it goes on and on and on, it's going to lose that allure a little bit. So I hope we're going to be ending it up pretty soon. We're on issue number 4, like I said. It'd be a great 6-issue run, I would say. So maybe we're heading in that direction. Let me know if you guys will read this one. It's a really good series. Let me know down below. All right, next up from American Nature Floating World Comics, we have Santos Sisters issue number 10. Eisner Award winning for best ongoing series this past year. So you haven't picked this one up. It's been winning awards, guys. So definitely check it out. I like the design of it. I like the aesthetic of it. We have Elena and Amber inside the story. It's very much like an Archie Comics kind of a format. There's a bunch of different short stories inside of here. A lot of great little articles and advertisements scattered around in there. You never really know what you're going to get inside of a Santos Sister book. But again, if you like that Archie aesthetic, if you like that kind of a thing with a little bit more mature vibe to it, definitely check this one out. We got newspaper print. We have great quality on the coloring and everything. And like I said, there's a lot of different little short stories in here. I won't go over the premise of all of them, but if you're into these kinds of things, definitely check out Santos Sisters. They have it in a collected format now. There's actually a hardcover too. And you can pay for advertising space in here as well. There's different tiers. They usually put out a memo a little bit before FOC, and they put that together all by themselves too. So we and my guys, we put together a little ad in here too. I think we're in issue number 8 towards the back. So that's really interesting. And yeah, guys, it's just a really cool independent book. Santos Sisters, support them. Eisner Award winners. Great series overall. Let me know if you guys are reading it. All right, this next book I took a chance on, but there's really no risk right here. We have from Dark Horse Comics, we have Miss Truesdale, The Rise of Men, Mike Mignola, and we have Jesse Lonergan doing the art on here. This is a volume 2 from what I understand. I have not read volume number 1. I plan on getting that and doing it before issue number 2 comes out. And so you can jump into this book though, and you will be fine if you did that. It's kind of a Genesis story. It's kind of a Adam and Eve type of a story as well. We have Miss Truesdale. She has this alternate personality from what I understand, many different lifetimes. You see her kind of like in her current day in the beginning. Then it goes back into like a barbarian, like I said, Garden of Eden type situation. We have evil serpents in here manipulating the scene, turning nature against man in here because man will just screw everything up towards the end. And that's basically the message going on in here. So it's a cool story overall, but Jesse's artwork, holy crap. Very reminiscent of Drone as far as like tone and how he uses the design and everything in the panels, but that's kind of his thing. He's just a master at design and composition, and it's really on display here. And it's a great action comic too, man. So it has that Garden of Eden kind of a vibe to it. We're escaping the garden, we're being manipulated by the demons, and we're just trying to survive nature at the same time. So cool story so far. I think it's like 4 or 5 issues overall. Miss Truesdale and the Rise of Men. Maybe it's a little bit less, something like that, but I'm having a great time with this one. Great creative team on here. Universe and Hellboy, man. You can't go wrong with Mike Mignola's writing. Let me know if you got it. All right, let's go over to IDW. We have TMNT issue number 13. We have Gene Yang on this one doing the writing instead of Jason Aaron. And instead of Figueroa, we have Williams on the art here too. So we have an artist and writing shift on here. And, I didn't have high expectations for this book. I would say that coming in and reading issue number 13, the story is definitely going in a whole different direction. There's a different vibe and there's a different feel and there's a different aesthetic to it that you get. And you would expect that from a writing change overall. What I do like is the brothers are now together as a unit. They're jumping from rooftop to rooftop, trying to solve some murder mysteries. You know what I mean? So it's fun to see them in a state where they're together and they like being together and they've thrown away all that baggage that they carried with them for the past 12 issues. So I like that part of it. I will say there's a lot of other supernatural elements that they're adding to this. Splinter's been gone for a long time. I didn't read the previous arc coming into this new relaunch for number 1, so I don't know what's going on necessarily with him, but we do get a little bit of an update of what's happening in that part, and I don't know if I like what's going on. Story aside, the art is cool. I will say that the coloring from Dell House, I think it's how you say it, is interesting too. There's a weird outline around the different characters. There's a good aesthetic to the coloring and the art itself. Is it as kinetic as Juan's? No, it's absolutely not. Is it as creative with the compositions? No. Does it have the same grittiness, the same feel, the same color palette and tones? Yeah, I think so. So there are some redeeming factors. There are some downsides to the series so far in issue number 13, but I'm going to stick around a little bit longer and see if those things get more annoying or worse over time, or they kind of wrap things up or get into their groove a little bit more. So I'm going to need a little bit more time to figure this one out. 13 was fine. It just wasn't as good as the best of the last 12, if that makes sense. In any case, let me know what you felt about this creative team switch. How'd you feel about issue number 13 compared to the first 12? Let me know down below. All right, next up is Assorted Crisis Events number 7, Camp and Zawadzki. We have Belair and Haas on this book. Now, one of my favorite books of the year. What I love is he's able to take these human experiences, these human emotions, whatever they might be, whether it's like discrimination or it's dealing with a sick family member or it's about family generational trauma, something like that. He's able to take the core pieces of those emotions or experiences, and he's able to twist and turn them inside of his crisis event that's happening inside the pages. So it comes across easily recognizable. You can resonate with it pretty quickly, but it's also fun and entertaining to go through these experiences and see how they are isolated and impact the character in this world. I will say in this issue, it's a little bit harder for me personally to understand exactly what that part is. What is he pulling from human experience and inserting it inside of his world? We have a character in here who randomly will come across a dead body of himself from an alternate reality. And it could be mangled. It could be in a car wreck. It could be in pieces. It could be limbs and whatever. And the frequency in which they're showing up is more and more frequent, right? It used to be once a day or something like that, but now it's like many per day. He's gotten to the point where he's desensitized to this entire thing, to the point where, you know, he used to do a proper burial for himself from an alternate reality, but now he's collecting all of himself and going to the junkyard and just like throwing himself into the trash. So there's a lot of interesting things happening there. You can probably take that a couple different ways. Like he's so focused on himself, perhaps, that he's ignoring everything else. He appears to be single in here. He has a job, but is he excelling in his job? He doesn't have anything else to worry about but himself and maybe his future, and maybe that's subconsciously leaking into him, and he has to deal with whatever he thinks is important to taking care of himself instead of like pushing that energy outward, I guess. There could be some interesting things to explore there. I haven't quite digested all of that. I would love to know how you guys interpreted this, and I'm sure we're going to talk about it on the Best of the Month show. But, you know, Zawadzki does an amazing job with just the compositions and the art just in general. Belair's doing an amazing job keeping up with the coloring and everything. So really interesting story. It just takes a little bit more energy for me to resonate with it. I want to know what you guys think. Let me know down below. All right, we're going to wrap it up with Geiger issue number 19. If you are a Nuclear Woman Ashley Arden fan, you are going to love this book. It does touch base with a little bit of her origin story. We already got a piece of that in previous issues and a little bit more, but we get a little recap in here. She is back in action, taking on some human traffickers in this issue, rescuing a whole lot of kids from the back of this van, and she takes care of these guys in brutal fashion, as you would imagine. These kids tip her off to the fact that they're being sold to this guy in St. Louis or something like that, and she goes on the hunt throughout this issue, just taking on waves and waves of dudes throughout this whole issue. These kids, though, they become a character in and themselves, and this is what's so special about Ghost Machine, man. They don't throw things away. They keep these things. She rescues these kids, she trains them, she arms them, and they become a myth and legend through like this Ghost Machine universe. They could become the St. Louis Strays. They have a little card in the back here that goes over like their power sets and what are they all about, their origin stories, the different names. This could be a spin-off series in and itself, and that's what's so cool about this, like this universe that they're building. Everybody is interesting. Everybody is impacted by the main characters, and then they're on their own, they're doing their own thing, and they're like self-contained stories in and of themselves. I want this book. I want a one-shot. It's awesome that they're doing this kind of stuff. She's an amazing character. I love her. She's derivative, but she's also interesting and has her own unique backstory. She's making her own impact here. It's really great. And she's causing a lot of other cool little spin-off possibilities too. Love this issue. Let me know if you read it. All right, guys, that's what I read. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know down below what you read and what your favorite books of the week were. While you're down there, like, subscribe, share, hit that bell notification to be alerted whenever I put out new videos. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the comments.